Hi, I'm Michael Baldwin from the AAA-COAT project. Today, I'm with Dr. Samuele Tosatti, CEO of SuSoS, one of our industry partners that is located in Zurich, in Switzerland. We would like to know more about their work on coatings technology. Now, hi, Sammy. Nice to see you today, and thank you for agreeing to talk with us about your company and about coatings. So first, I hear that SuSoS is actually 20 years old, and you've been celebrating the 20th anniversary very recently. So congratulations.
Hi, Michael, everybody. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, 20 years is a target, and we never imagined to arrive to that when we started the company 20 years ago. At that time, we were called Surface Solutions because we were thinking we have solution for everything in the field of surfaces. So that's where our heart beats, and what we really like to do is to change the outer aspect of things in order to gain new functionality. So yes, that's a very good objective we reached.
So how did SuSoS actually start? What's your background before then, and how did you come to decide to start in business and have your own business doing this kind of work?
Yeah, it's all started. I still remember that it started the idea started on a very hot summer day. We were at ETH in Zurich, so Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. Was me, another colleague, and what has been now turned to be my work partner, Stefan Zürcher. So, and he came, he's a chemist, I'm a material engineer. We were doing coating, and one day he came with a series of polymer, surface active polymer that he said, oh, I synthesized these things. I want to see if they go on the surface, and they can do several things. And so there we see kind of the potentiality of the basic technology we have been developed at the Institute at that time. And we were saying, okay, since surfaces are everywhere, let's try to see if we can fill this gap between industry and university by taking these generic surfaces, this generic technology, and apply them onto surface. I remember so we were developing this coating mostly for, the original idea was to coat red blood cells to facilitate transfusion, and then we use these as a non-fouling surface to prevent bacteria to grow. Then we move them to biosensors. We were thinking, so we were using this coating for sensors and biosensor, like testing the allergies or things like that. And then we were saying, oh, since they are not sticky, these surfaces we tried, and I think one of the first internal project we had at SuSoS was to coat half of my car, of my Alfa Romeo, to see if we can make the surface of the car less dirty, or so more resistant to dirt application.
Right.
The result was not so great, and we have learned over the year to kind of focus back on very specific field like life science and medtech, where we are active now.
So can you give us a more of an idea what is the day-to-day work in SuSoS? So you're talking about research, R&D. What is the actual kind of work, and what does your lab look like? What are the kind of tests you do, or the experiments, if you like? Analysis?
Yeah, I see. So let's put it like this. First, we work normally with very thin films. So when I mean thin films, we make layers which are 1 molecule thick. So there are 1, 2, 3 nanometers. So very, very thin. We kind of to say, if you want to coat I don't know, a bottle, right? Inside with our coating, the ratio, the aspect ratio is like coating the city of London with an aluminum foil thick layer all over. So the ratio is
Right.
really very, very, very extreme. And customers that come to us, normally they come after they have tested several standard solution, and they are not, or they have developed something completely new, and the standard solution are not fitting their current needs. So they come to us, they say, look, I'm an industry mostly, so these are industry. We have this project, we need to modify the surface, and we need to do it by yesterday. And that's what we do. So we are, in that case of the R&D, an alternative to public funded schemes, which is also something we do, like we do in the EU. But this is, I see that more as on the long term. On the short term is, instead of asking for funding, waiting for the the whole process of an EU project, the people come to us, and if we can offer something, they decide, and they have the budget, and we start the project within weeks or days.
Right.
And so often there are several testing, several developing, and then once the kind of system has been nailed down, we either transfer the knowledge we have established and the technology on the license to our customer, or we start a little bit some production. The people need a lot of time to go at cruise speed, right? Not that, okay, today I'm nothing, tomorrow I have 1 million chip to be sold. So you maybe start this month 500, the next month 1,000, then for 2 months nothing, then 5,000, and sooner or later you arrive at 500,000 chip per day. But it's on the long term, and all the investment you need to go there, it's something you try to diminish by doing the job with us, and we doing the coating preliminary up to a certain level. And so
Right.
this is as we have been run the company over the past 20 years.
All right. Yeah. How many people are working at the company now, just to give our listeners an idea?
Yeah, we are small. We are 10 people.
Right.
So, and 8 of them have a PhD. So and we are very interdisciplinary. So we have chemists, of course, because we need the people that cook. We have material engineer. We have people that study physics, mostly because of the surface analysis, surface characterization, and so that's where we are. So we are a small, very interdisciplinary team, and try to learn every day something new.
So what different types of coatings, or what different applications have SuSoS particularly helped to create in the past with your industry clients?
So yeah, so at the moment we are, what we say, we call it, we are very thin, and we work with 2 kinds of technology. Either we synthesize polymers that our customer apply by dipping on the surface, and these are mostly hydrophilic, non-fouling, biologically functionalizable polymers. These are coating that are mostly used in biosensing. So in the field, as example, next generation sequencing is a name that people have already heard, probably. Microfluidic, so this kind of thin films coating are of great use in microfluidic industry. So these very small channel, and there mostly you have the problem of wettability. So if you make the surface easily permanently hydrophilic, so filling these very small tubes makes the life much simpler, and so the functionality of the whole chip is much easier. This is one side, I would say, of the technology we have. There is another side which is related on what we call adhesion promoter, and these are, you can also call them molecular glue. So these are monolayers that carry at least 2 functionality in order to be able to bring 2 materials that are different among each other, and they have no correlation or no way of staying together to stick them together on a chemical map. And because with this technology, then what you apply on top can be as various as the material are. So we have customer. So we use this adhesion promoter to as example, one hot topic is bonding of these microfluidic chips. So you have two plastic parts, and you want to glue them together, but you want your glue to be so thin as possible. Otherwise, it will change the dimension of your very tiny device. We have other customer that want to glue, I don't know, Teflon with glass, which they are two completely incompatible materials. And so with the use of the adhesion promoter, we facilitate the chemical interaction between species that are not compatible to each other. So
all right, yeah. So is that using quite strong chemistry? I mean, if it's bonding these different materials,
it's not necessarily the use. It's the use of the right chemistry. So at the end, yes, we strive to achieve what chemists call covalent bonds. So we want a non-reversible interaction between molecule A and molecule B. And so on that case, it's strong, but it's strong, I would say, not necessarily absolutely. So it is strong at the molecular level where we are working to. So
all right, yeah.
it's not that, imagine so the mechanical interlocking of Velcro, the force that you have when you tear this apart, it's much higher, although it's not bond than the force that a single molecule has on the surface. If you take many single molecules, then you have a much more stronger force.
Sure, yeah. So, considering you've been active in this field for some time, and the whole area of surface science and coating technology, how do you think that's developed in the last, say, 30 years? What are the big trends, and where do you think it's going in the future?
So again, also there, I think it's to discern a little bit because again, surfaces are active in so many fields, and so where I've seen less changes, let's start from there, is in the biomedical field. Mostly there because, you know, to establish this process, it requires a lot of testing, a lot of investment, a lot of testing, biological testing. So there the changes are maybe a bit less marked, and the people tend to cope kind of, okay, it's not the ideal solution, but I live with that. What I've seen more in generic, more broad, I think when we started the company, I think the very hype, and then again, I'm talking about around year 2000, were the self-cleaning surfaces. So the idea was I can treat the surface again of my car, right? And then I can drive on the German motorway at 200 kilometers per hour. And if a moustique hit my glass, it doesn't stick, and my car stay clean. That was kind of the very hype, and there was all about Teflon coating, also very hydrophobic coating. And then so we catch this hype, or at least I catch this hype toward the end of my PhD, and then it relatively moved to everything which is definitely green and bio. So around 2000 was the so-called biomimetic. So try to find way to copy nature to make more sustainable coating. And then in the surface area around 2010, something like that. So there was a lot in the galvanic with the replacement of the chromium 6 as an intermediate bond. Still people are struggling with that. because it's been found to be cancerogenous, so it was driven by AAU, okay, to replace this thing. So this also goes green, and I think now since 2 or 3 years, and it's getting higher and higher, is all these discussion about PFAS. So these
Forever, forever
Teflon-like
chemicals,
material. Yes.
fluorine containing chemicals
Yes.
which do not degrade in the environment. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, and I think a lot of discussion is there. Also there is, so I would say the changes are also a lot of, if I look at that, they have been driven by the legislator on one end and by the need of the people to go green. As example, another thing that was along the whole line. So I remember 20 years ago, it was no problem to use any organic solvent, okay? You pay attention, but you could order an organic solvent. Today, you kind of, everybody has moved so far it can away from the use of organic solvent. It's not necessarily a change in the technology, but it's changing the way you apply the technology. And so you use water-based system and so on, which has advantage and disadvantage. Is not always the replacement technically the best solution, but in the whole picture of the things, we have seen that with the calculation on the circular economy and so on. So if I use water, is much better than if I use toluene or other strange things. So I think that the tendency will be go green, go more natural as you can. Although there is limitation, because there is a reason why Teflon works so nicely. So the presence of fluorine to me makes the fact that the things is hydrophobic and oleophobic. So if you cannot just replace fluorine with whatever other atoms and then pretend it works. So it will require a lot of things. Probably there will be area where the changes will be enforced by the legislator. There were changes enforced by the user, and there are areas where people doesn't even know that they are, and they will get kind of an execution because they are also so irrelevant in respect to the whole things that there you can have a control, you can have different way of handling it, and then probably would stay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So concerning green technology and more sustainable coatings, that is what we're attempting to do with AAA-COAT, of course, with our nanocellulose based antimicrobial, antifungal, antiviral coatings. So can you tell us more about what is the contribution of SuSoS in AAA-COAT? And I was also interested to know what motivated you and your team to join the project in the first place.
I think there are. So what motivated us to join and is twofold. On one end, for a small company like us with limited possibility of investing in our own R&D, being part of a EU consortium is crucial for granting development of technology that will serve the company and the customer of the company for the next 20 years. So I think this is what an EU project is of great importance for us. Excuse me. And then the other the other aspect. So what I found genial, or the more I'm working in, the more I think genius. So the idea of using a product like nanocellulose, which at the end of the day turned to be side product of paper making. I find it's very genial, and as a material, really, the more we work with it, the more we find it's great. And
Right.
I think the interesting thing is exactly there where if I go back to the connection on the adhesion promoter, the role of SuSoS becomes pretty clear. So chemically, the nanocellulose as is characteristic, and mechanically it is characteristic. But there is no chemical reason why a fiber of nanocellulose should interact covalently with a metal surface, with a glass surface, with another polymer. I don't know, polypropylene. We have been testing a lot in the project. So all these surfaces that are present in the bus. So there is no real reason that chemically they speak the same language, right? So
Yeah.
then our objective, or so our contribution, hopefully, will be that we are able to provide those, you can call it Google Translator molecules, so that they are capable to translate the language of one to the language of the other and vice versa. So if we can generate with a molecule a bridge between these two surfaces and guarantee a good adhesion, I think then we have accomplished our goal. And the reason why we do that with an intermediate layer and not by modifying the nanocellulose is that I think this would add a complication step more in the formulation of the nanocellulose. And in any case, since they are, on the other hand, different material, as I said, metal, glass, textiles, and plastics of all types, it's easier to tune the adhesion promoter and then say, oh, I have a plastic, I use this adhesion promoter, but what it comes after the application of the adhesion promoter is always the same, is always standardized. So that simplifies life quite a lot. And I think that this is where I see the biggest contribution of us in the project.
So we do have several industry partners in the project. And part of the reason for that is having the capability to use the results out of the project and make new products and new coating technology, take it to a practical application as a commercial product in the market. Can you explain more how that actually works in terms of having some research results, and how does that get turned into a real life product, and how long it takes? What's involved?
The very direct answer would be forever, but so it's like PFAS, chemicals. No, it's a joke, but I think that this is a very, very hot topic, and the past 20 years, at least I could make myself my own idea about that, and I think really often the feeling of the people at the university or so before going out to the universities, oh yeah, okay, here is my test done on a lab scale. Okay, I tried it 3 times. Okay, I wrote a nice paper. I even got to Nature, probably. I wrote a patent which cover all other possibilities that are not tested, but it's possible cases. Okay. Okay, here's the patent. Now go out. I expect money in 6 months. But this is often I have a little bit I see the expectation, yeah, also of some offices in the university. It's not like this. So making the thesis, writing the patent, writing a paper, it's probably 5% of the whole.
Right, 5%.
To go there, you need a practical upgrade. You need a business case. So as example, ETH has learned a lot in this case, and it does fantastically. So they have a so-called fellowship where some selected people after their study, they got a period to build up their business case around their technology. Not necessarily to study, go more in the lab, just build up their business case. So I think first of all, you need a business case, and then you need to upscale. And then, and there it's where also people kind of underestimate. So I need to repeat the things, not 3 times. I need to repeat the thing 30 times, because otherwise one day you are in the production and the customer, something happens. So there are so many variables and the customer call you, oh, it doesn't work for this and this and this reason. I don't know why. And then you start handling that. And so I think the common, and especially now, if you consider also building a completely new chemistry for the EU, it requires a very complex approach on the reach, on the fact that you have to prove if you make tons of it. So our strategy is for sure try to find all these high-end, high-value market where you know, with less quantity, so maybe even with 100 kilogram of material, so which are well below the reach level and so on, you can make something. You can really generate a market, you can generate a business case. And then once you have these cases, then yes, you go to a large business, to a large chemical company, so people that do not synthesize in the beaker glass, so but they synthesize in a building, and they produce in number of trains. So I produce 30 wagons of this chemistry, right, and not 3 grams, and then upscale that and do all that. So it's not what I say. It's a long phase until you say, oh, this coating will be used everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, so until the replacement of Teflon, right? If there is a coating, a material, let's call it future, okay, that will replace Teflon, right? It will not be from today to tomorrow. It will have to go over a certain scale, over a back side, and so it takes a while and takes a lot of money. There is a material that I can probably, so if the people that here may have heard about that and so on. So it's, if I say hyaluronic acid, right? So whatever advertisement you see now about creams and about cosmetics, but also about medicaments, so it's a material used overall in the cosmetic and biomedical industry, right?
Right.
And one thing, oh, it's a new material and so on, hyaluronic acid. The bright public think about that. But so hyaluronic acid, there are people that are studying it since 30 years.
Yeah.
And then it started in one direction, then they use for some biomedical devices, for some, I don't know, liquid to be used in the knees as a artificial synovial fluid, right? Replacement and so on. So it goes over the year, and then it went to the eye, and then today now you see in cosmetic. And yes, if you make this step from hyaluronic acid for knee surgery, okay, or so for injection when you have the knees, it's a large quantity. But if you imagine the quantity that you have in a face cream, okay, it's order of magnitude higher. But this took years, and so the point is that often I see the people that think, oh yeah, I have the things. The commercialization is a step that need to go slower, step by step, and requires a lot of money, a lot of effort, and a lot of being tied to that. So that's not so easy, but it works. It works. So especially, again, there are cases which are faster, but when I'm talking about material, I think the scale is a little bit longer than people would like.
You're right. Yeah. They're thinking more like in the medieval times, they would build a cathedral over decades, centuries even, and many hands being involved, not just one.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Probably that's a very good very good parallelism. Yes.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. All right. Well, that's been really interesting to find out more about the world of coatings and also the commercial side of things. Because we have researchers in the project, academic, but also industry partners, and very interesting to hear about what happens after the lab and the world of industry research as well. So yeah, thank you, Samuele, for your time today, and
Welcome.
yeah, and look forward to seeing you soon on our next AAA-COAT occasions, and yeah, we'll bring the interview to a close. Thank you very much indeed, and have a good day.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everybody.
Right.
Thanks.
Goodbye.